welcome to My RC Life, where we do all things RC and a little bit of everything in between. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to My RC Life. Sorry I haven't been pumping out the videos as much lately, but I'm in a fine line of being able to run. Of course, I can run my stuff out in the muddy conditions or whatever, but I'd rather have dry conditions or snow, because snow is easy to clean up. It just kind of melts into regular water. But when it's kind of like it thaws out and it's kind of muddy and then we get snow again, like it's not the best time to run it because the ground's starting to unthaw and whatever. Like today I might be able to get a run in. The ground has started to unthaw. The ground has started to freeze again. But I always have time for some shop videos, and I always have something to fix. If you followed the channel for a while, you know what this is. This is my old Clod-Buster. When I first got this vehicle, I got it in on trade. It was a dead stock Clod-Buster. I had $100 into it. I sold the body for $100, so this has been a free truck. It had a manual ESC in it with the servo that run the rheostat to make it go. What I've done is I put a Traxxas XL5 brushed ESC in it, a waterproof Traxxas receiver box with a Traxxas receiver and transmitter. The motors remain the stock white end bell Tamiya motors. Shocks are all stock. I sealed the holes on the inside of these wheels, so if you listen closely when I squeeze them, no hissing, no air escapes. So this thing floats. If you look at some of my older videos, you will see this thing out on the water, down in the quarry, out on a couple different local lakes around here. Well, then I received a dually kit. And how much cooler is a Clod-Buster floating out on the water with a set of duals? I mean, awesome, right? But the only thing is these duals are 3D printed, and these are just little nuts recessed down in this plastic deal, and you'll see what happens right here. All right, that's what happens. It looks kind of like a low quality print. It's just got threads on the outside, or not threads, but just like little lines, and it's supposed to set down in there and go in like that. Anyways, what I'm going to do today is bust out my plastic welder here. I've switched from this fat tip that you just, push on your plastic rod with, put your plastic rod up there and push on almost like you're TIG welding. And I switched to this one where you run your plastic rod right through that hole there, and it comes out the back side there. And then it's also small enough so I can get the tip down in here better. I don't know why they didn't fill this whole area, but I'm going to put some down in here. The ones that are broke free, I'm going to put a little squirt down in the hole, then shove that in, and then do that filling around the edges. So that's where we're going to start. Alright, I'm going to pull out some black. Let's see, it tells me what kinds they are. Polypropylene, 1/8 diameter. I think some of this might be ABS, some of it's polypropylene. There's just different kinds. Fiberflex. I'm going to go ahead and use this kind here. Okay, so your rod just kind of shoves right in your end just like that, and it starts to melt. See how quick that starts smoking there? See it's coming out the other end there? Alright. So let's get this piece up here and ready to go. I'll sit on the edge of the tire. And I'm going to stick it in here and let it get hot a little bit first. I don't want to just shove it all the way through right away. Let it get hot in there. And start filling that inner a little bit. There we go. I don't want to get too much in there because I don't know if you can see it on there, but it'll squish up into the threads a little bit. So you don't want to get too much in there because you don't want to fill up your threads. Okay. Now after that, it's a little bit of a smoky thing here. I'm going to go ahead and turn this down a bit. I had it turned all the way up. There. Let's see, can I twist that now? It's starting to harden. No, it feels like it's in there pretty good. Got some in there. Let's smooth it flat. Burn it down in there. We definitely don't want it to stick out any further than this surface or this surface. All right. Don't want to get any of that plastic into that nut, so we're kind of making sure we row it away there. Roll it, row it. I got my own weird words. They're definitely not in the dictionary. Some weird words I use sometimes. There, that don't look too bad. Let that one harden up. Now I do believe that's the only one I had the whole center section pop out in. I do believe a couple of these nuts popped out because I had epoxy on a couple of these. I chipped the epoxy back off. But yeah, there was epoxy on a couple of these. Because I think the nut popped out of the plastic insert itself. But I'm going to go ahead and just, see if I can pop these out. That one looks like it's in there pretty good. Let's check this one. That looks in there pretty good. Let's try the last one. Looks in there pretty good. So I think the inside nut was the other one that I had issues with. Because I had issues with 2 of the 4 tires messing up. Alright, let's get to plastic welding a little bit more here. Shove the old one. When it gets short, shove it through with your new one. Be careful not to burn yourself, obviously. Might even want to lay this on your nut itself. Let it squish down into that 3D printed part. The nut will get hot and it'll seat down in there and melt in. Yeah, I think that'll probably be a good idea. Yeah, that looks good. I think I may even touch up this first one. This first one I didn't quite fill it all the way up. I think I'll go back and actually fill it all the way up. I don't think it's going to hurt it at all if I do that. lay this right on this hot nut here. By pressing down. Yeah, it definitely pressed down a little bit. Perfect. That looks good. Okay, number 3. This one I'm just going to start by heating the nut up first. That looks all right. Okay. 4th and final. Start by heating this nut up. Oh yeah, she pressed right in there. Although, exactly what I was worried about. I got some plastic in those threads. So what I'm going to do before that plastic hardens up, I'm going to go ahead and screw it onto the truck. Okay, I was able to get the threads cleaned out. Don't know how well you can see, but the nut was starting to pull out of there, so now I gotta heat it back up again. Press it back down in, just like so. And there we go. Ouch! Touched my thumb right there. Burnt myself a bit. Alright, looks like that one's done. We're going to go ahead and give these 4 a bit of time to harden up. All we got to do is basically screw these on to this stud here after we have the wheel on, because it'll stick, the stud will stick to the outside there. Then you just tighten her up. It's not the best thing in the world, but it works. Oh, I just realized why they didn't fill all this in. Those little fake lug nuts. Now what do we do? I'm thinking I grind those out with a Dremel. Now this one wouldn't come off. I'm thinking on the back side, I remember I had one of these with these little tabs right there. It's got these 5 little tabs that set into these. I'm thinking I might have put some epoxy on this because those tabs were broke, or like 3 of the 5 were broke, and then I just kind of glued that on, I think. So I just left that one on there and ground the fake lug nuts off like that. All right, start sliding these on here. We'll start there. Okay, let's screw on these extensions. That feels really good. Another side. It's always a nice bit of content to watch this thing go floating across the lake. I never did put a bobber, a hook, and a worm on the bumper of this sucker. Maybe I'll try that this spring. Do a little fishing with it. Of course, we've seen people fish with a RC boat out on the water. But has anyone ever fished with an RC truck floating out there on the water? I've never seen one. I'm sure people have probably, you know, threw a bobber and a hook out there and had a truck sitting on shore. You know, and when the bobber went down, they reeled it in with the truck. But did they ever have the truck on the water? This could be some innovative thinking here, people. This don't seem like those nuts hold very good. This ain't the best design in the world. You know, you wouldn't want to be using this as a pulling truck with these things on here. You'd want a different type of setup. But for what we're doing, you know, floating it across the water, it'll work just fine. Last one, tire number 8. All right, guys, there she is, back in action. Eight by 8 by 8, which means 8-wheel drive. 8 by 8 with 8-wheel steering, because obviously everybody knows the Clod-Buster steers with the rear axle as well. What a beast. I can't wait to get this sucker out and play with it. Alright, that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. I'll see you later. Bye, guys. Thanks for watching another episode of My RC Life. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.